Hello, welcome back for another episode of Jorgy's Stripping the Dipping. And today, of course, I have a perfect guest. She's this wonderful person. I'm stammering. So she's this wonderful person that I met on Twitter, online, of course. But she was there to back me up whenever I was falling down with the work that I had and everything else, whatever happens, she has my back and she had my back as well. So I invited her to do an episode with me and we will be doing more episodes together. And we thought of the perfect topic to talk about, and that is women empowerment. So today we will be starting an episode with regard to the topic, and you will be hearing a small noise on the background, which is that is my the dog Duke. He just jumped on and he's scratching himself, the dog stuff. So yes, let's welcome this perfect amazing girl. Yeah, some of you will be very happy to hear that it's a girl. So Natsumi, I hope that I pronounced her name properly. Hello, hi. So I will let her introduce herself. She's a Japanese Sri Lankan. She's a very smart woman who has an anthropology degree and doing esports, and the work totally the opposite of the degree. So welcome to the show, Natsumi. Hello. Hello. Can you hear me? I think she can hear me. Well, she's connected, but I can't hear her. Oh my gosh. Okay, let me see. Can you hear me? Yes, you can hear me, but I can't hear you. She's saying that she can hear me, but I can't hear you. So others won't be able to hear you as well. Try to speak louder. So I hope maybe there's an issue with the speaker or something. Meanwhile, Duke, what are you doing? So yeah, meanwhile, I'm here with Duke here. Okay. Let's see. She's getting connected. Oh, okay.
You can hear me now. Oh my goodness, the tech issues. I'm sorry. I think my laptop today just absolutely hates me because none of my mics are working. And now apparently not even my MacBook mic wants to work. So clearly Murphy's Law, everything that can go wrong will go wrong.
If things go south, let's walk to the east.
Yes, exactly. Except not in this heat. Thank you. Georgina, hi. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for the warm welcome. And I'm sorry that I essentially ghosted you for a few seconds.
I was enjoying the ghosting moment with the dog.
Exactly. I was like, oh my goodness, this is the worst. Thankfully, I had my phone set up. So I was like, we're prepared. We have a contingency plan.
Yeah.
Women in tech.
Unlike the
Exactly. Oh my gosh. I'm so excited to actually be able to connect with you, which is crazy. Yeah. Because I think this is
blunders.
Precisely. I think this is the first time that we've actually spoken over the phone.
This is the first time. We used to text. We used to text each other on Twitter. We always chat and then we tweet each other and we comment each other's tweet and we comment together on someone else's tweets as well. But actually, this is the first time that we are talking. Like, hello, I can hear your voice, and then she was like, I can hear you. So yeah.
I mean, it's really awesome because we're actually in the same country as well, and we met because of Formula One Twitter. Not even bumped into each other on the road. Nothing like that. Exactly. I mean, that is a crazy thing as well about Formula One. It just connects you with so many different people, and then
my gosh, that audience is amazing.
Yeah. It's like it has a lot of phenomenal people, and I seriously have met so many amazing people, yourself included, and that's why today is so exciting for me, because I'm like it's so exciting because I'm like, I met Georgina because of Formula One, but we have so many other things in common. And actually the story of how we bonded wasn't because of Formula One. I mean, we were both on Formula One Twitter, but it was because of one of your tweets regarding work. And it was literally,
I had to go and put my dog out of the room because he was making a pesting issue.
Oh.
Yeah, so yes, because of the work we got connected.
And it was literally because you used the acronym SL in your tweet, and I was like, hang on a second, I know that acronym and I use it for Sri Lanka. So I was like,
yeah. And then you did like, if you're mentioning SL as if you meant SL by Sri Lanka, then I can understand you. And I'm like, hell yeah, high five, sister.
And that was sort of essentially how we met, how we connected. And since then, it's just been back and forth, and it's been really amazing. I think you're somebody who's so articulate and so just honest and straightforward with all of that you like sort of touch upon, not just Formula One but work. And we've certainly bonded a lot in that sense as well, about work and just our struggles with it. I think we both have similar working situations, so I think that's been something else that we talk a lot about, which I don't know, were we going to talk about that today?
I think we should, because that was one of the main reasons that we actually spoke of, and we thought of starting an episode calling Women Empowerment, because we thought of addressing all these small issues, which can be small issues for others, but those are humongous issues for women who are in the work culture. So we were like, guys, we were like thinking, and then she was suggesting, why don't we just talk about how we bonded, and then we can continue on the topic. And then it was like a brilliant idea, the light bulb moment.
Give or take with the power cuts that we've been having. Light bulb or candle.
Good God. The amazing part, guys, was when she was talking to me today. We were supposed to do these around 1:00 today. We were supposed to record, and then I was texting her and saying that can we postpone it for half an hour more? And then she was like, yeah, because I also have no electricity here. We are having the power cut now. And oh my gosh, so currently in Sri Lanka there's a huge power cut going on everywhere for so many hours. It's not just half an hour or 15 minutes or anything. It's more than an hour. It's almost 2.5 hours or something, right?
Yeah, so give or take, depending on the area that you're in.
Yeah. Because for me, thank God that I'm not having any power cuts, because I live between a couple of hospitals. Because of that, they're not cutting the power into that side. But the road next to our houses, they're having the power cuts. So, oh my gosh, that's a hard work. And currently, Sri Lanka is in a crisis, an economic crisis in a humongous way. That is also like crazy dollar inflation. Oh my gosh, I don't even start with that. So yeah, that was there. And then she was like, okay. And then while I was texting with her, she said, you know what? I the electric. Oh, there's a beep. Oh, we got the electricity.
It came at the perfect time, I think.
Yeah, the God was looking upon us.
It was like, we were making it so hard for you, so we're going to make it easier so that you don't have to struggle with this.
Yeah. So yes, I will ask you the question regarding all this work culture. So since you had the work culture to work for a UK company and to work in Sri Lankan environment, have you ever experienced a difference between those working criteria, the working cultures?
So I think quality-wise, there's a certain standard that we have to uphold. And it can be a little bit tough to bridge the gap at times. And certainly when it comes to, and this is something that we have spoken on, when it comes to females who are in that sort of managerial position, or even a role where you have to delegate work or sort of coordinate work, it can sometimes be a little bit challenging. I think that's the best word to sort of like, as diplomatically as possible.
A little bit challenging, yes. And my Twitter blows up again. Okay, I didn't. Oh, okay. So there's side question. If you need to select 3 tracks as a driver in F1, what are the tracks that you're gonna choose?
Driver in F1. Yeah. Oh my gosh, what are the easiest tracks?
I actually chose the hardest ones.
I know. I mean, my first one's always going to be the track in Suzuka. Just because. Yeah, that would be a second one. And as for a third one, I mean, probably Monza. What would you choose?
I actually chose I love myself a challenge. I loved that Jeddah track because everyone was messed there.
Good one, yeah.
Yeah. So I chose Jeddah and then Monaco because Monaco is also a very hard track. And then for the third one, actually, I don't have a particular choice for the third one. So I went with Qatar since it's a new track. So, yeah.
I guess I'm sort of avoiding the Middle East for the moment. After last season, it's like, let's just go to the other side of the world for a little bit.
Yeah, so that was a side question. Suddenly, since my Twitter blows up.
Going off to like a tangent about Formula One. We can't help ourselves. Like, we're just so...
Yeah. I see whenever I speak, when I take FIA or Marcy or somebody from F1 to put an example.
I have noticed that. I was like, Georgina's just been tagging them in every single tweet.
Yeah, I'm like, oh yeah, we should have gone with Michael Masi, and some people might be wondering who the hell is Michael Masi.
It's like, why is Georgina so in love with this person, or like has this vendetta against them? And it goes without saying, I think that's everybody, or like not everybody, that's a generalization, but most people are quite upset with people.
Most of the people in F1. So yes, the work, I think when it comes for work in Sri Lanka, there's I am not quite sure about the internationally in other countries, but some countries, yes, since I've worked abroad as well, some countries, they do have this male ego, but not up to this high level as in Sri Lanka. Because, for an example, the issues that I had while working, it was, oh my gosh, it was superiorly high. I was super stressed, and then I decided, you know what, I don't need these negativities, and I can survive without this particular job with all this negativity, and I can work on my own things separately and have my peace of mind. So when it comes to Sri Lankan people, not all, I can't generalize because there are some people who are very good, but most of the Sri Lankan male workers who are working, they do have an ego, a male ego, where they don't want to work under a woman or listen to what they have to say. They feel like it's, I don't know, maybe they feel like it's very low for them or something. I don't know, which is very weird. But still, yeah, I think there's an issue with that. It's basically the male ego that is running around. What do you think?
I would have to agree. I think it's certainly ego-based because you could essentially talk to somebody and be like, oh, by the way, do you have this particular document? And then they just sort of get all uppish with you, and you're like, I'm not trying to boss you around or tell you to do something, but it's just, you know, a simple question of, oh, well, do you have this document? And they take it the wrong way, which is really peculiar. I don't know. I think it's almost like they just rather that you're the one who listens and they're the person who like talks to you and asks you for things, which is a I don't know, it's not sustainable. It's not something that you can do in a workplace.
Yeah.
And I think the roles that you have been in and that I've been in are a little bit more on hands, and we have a lot of work that we're delegating, that we're working with, and there's just a
Yeah.
lot going on. So there is no chance that we're ever going to be in that sort of like role where we're just kind of quiet and we, yeah, kind of don't say anything. Especially you and
Yeah.
I think we're both very outspoken, assertive.
Yeah, that's why most people can't tolerate us.
Yeah, I do find that a lot. That was something that I had to tone down a lot of, because I do work on a very kind of strict Japanese standard, and a lot of times with the sort of Sri Lankan work culture, it's a little bit more laid back. People have tea at like 10 a.m. at 1 p.m. after lunch in the afternoon.
How many breaks do you need?
I know. And if you don't take part in those breaks, they're kind of like, why are you working so hard? And you're just like, this is, you know, what your day is supposed to be
I'm
like.
Working.
Yeah. So I think that's been really interesting. And as we navigate like careers in this day and age, like how much is too much, and then, you know, how much is just
exactly. That's why I drew the line. So basically what happened for me was the recent new job. It's also a UK job, but it was done in Sri Lanka. They were outsourcing. So I was working here as a manager, and there was this one person who was working with me, who is supposed to be, who used to work with them for a long time, who had the experience already. But apparently he had issues of a woman, a new person coming into work and handling all the stuff, because from the UK, the HQ, they have ordered to hand over all the stuff like the office laptops and all the stuff to me so that I can work. It was actually a work related thing, because the admin work was done by me. I was the person who was handling all those operational stuff, and then train. Suddenly we are back again. So,
oh my gosh. Murphy's Law. Today's the worst.
I was like blubbering, and then I was like, it ended. I didn't realize it.
I know. I was kind of like, why did it just say ended? And then I thought, okay, I'm going to refresh and see. Technology is really hating us today. I don't know what it is.
Some issue. I hope the technology is not a male-based one.
I know, and it was just like, I'm so tired of hearing you both kind of like talk about the Sri Lankan work culture. Oh gosh.
About us males.
This is, oh my goodness, this is actually a really amusing first time for us, I guess. It's a memorable bonding experience, if anything. I hope, well, actually, come to think about it, hopefully we didn't lose everything that we were talking about. Oh my gosh, Georgina.
We have become ourselves we have turned ourselves into Charlie Chaplins because of these connection issues and technology, the electricity. Oh my god, the tech.
I know, and the mic issues, and I don't even know. At this stage, I'm just ready for anything to happen.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, man, I'm bulletproof. Hit me with your best shot.
Exactly. You can't tear us down. We're still gonna come back stronger, I think. I say that hesitantly. It's like, don't want to jinx anything.
No. There won't be any jinx when two women are there.
I don't know. There could be hijinks.
Yeah. Can be. Might be. Maybe. Definitely.
Most definitely. Oh goodness.
Yeah. So the issue that I have was, it's actually based on male ego as well, because it was nothing to do with the work. That person who was already there was supposed to give us the training. He was supposed to give me the training so that I can train the others, and then I can start running the whole process. Since it's a media related work, since it's a radio station, I have to do all these conducting all these programs and the systems that I need to know and everything. So the person who was having the knowledge was not willing to share it, and the people who were in charge of him were not willing to take the responsibility, and they were forcing me to find a way to learn the system and tag all those things and run the whole operation, which I did, by the way. Thank God for the damn YouTube.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, there's a certain limit when it comes to the YouTube videos as well. And everybody's not posting every single thing that we need to know. So it comes with the experienced person. So it needs to be done in a proper training manner, which I didn't get. So I kept on asking for help, but no response from either side. And then there were issues going around with a whole ego, and whenever I report regarding something in the studio or anything, I was basically, I'm supposed to report it to the UK, but the person who was here, he was super annoyed since I am reporting it to the UK. He was telling me, oh, you should be reporting it to me, you don't have to report to them. And then from UK they were saying, you're supposed to report to us, not to him. And I'm like, dude, what am I supposed to do in the middle? I'm getting torn with both of the parties. I can't get fired by all parties. The main reason that I decided that this is not cut out for me was the management. When it comes, yes, I'm also a manager there, and I know the responsibilities and the duties that I have to take. So when there's a management, there are certain rules and regulations and stands, and the forms that they should be having, like, okay, these are done by this person, and this person is supposed to do all these things. And if the person who was working with me is supposed to give us a training, then he should have done that, and from the management they should have taken care of that part. But no one is willing to take their own responsibilities and keep on keeping the people who are already working there, but no one is willing to go move forward. However, in the end, I'm supposed to take the whole blame if something goes wrong, and the responsibility as well, which is not done right. Because when I work, I want things to done properly. Because when you're on air, no one is going to help you do anything. So if a presenter is going on air, then it's our responsibility to provide everything possible so that the person can go on air without any issues, without any extra external issues, to handle the whole program. So uh, it was not going well. I informed them. And then when I resigned, I didn't just resign. I created all the work in the proper manner. So the next person who's coming there will be able to conduct it without any issues. So that part I did, because I know what I went through. So I don't want anybody else who's filling that position to go through the same hellhole that I went through.
That is so generous of you as well. I remember when you told me, I was like, oh my goodness, that is really, really good of you. And they don't realize how good of you it was to like just sort of leave all of that work for the next person, because not a lot of places have that. And I think that's the issue as well, right? They lack
Yeah.
that structure, the processes in place, and that sort of reporting line as well. Like nobody knows who's
Yeah.
reporting to who. So everybody thinks that they have that sort of superiority. So when you told me that you were setting things up and you had everything kind of laid out work-wise for the next month ahead, I was like, oh my gosh, they were so lucky to have you, and they are still lucky because it's continuing.
I prepared it for 3 months actually. They can run, the person, whoever fills that position, can run up to May, June, July. Yeah, up to that, I had all the stuff in the proper manner so that they can go with the operations without any issues. As without any issues, the operations can run smoothly. So even for the presenters, what I did request for them was to take 1 month and give 1 month of time for these presenters to train properly so that they can actually go on air with confidence and handle the whole system and the operations and everything, which apparently they have taken into their suggestion they have taken into their decisions, and they have said that they are not going to go with the sorry, the programs for this month, basically they have given this month for the presenters to start training, which is a good thing for the for the presenters actually, because otherwise it would have been a bloody mess and a big chaos.
I think from the sounds of it, it already was a bloody
Oh,
mess.
it was, oh my gosh.
Yeah, I remember.
1 week of you're getting to work, not officially, unofficially, a week before the official date, and then they're saying, oh, you have to go on air within 2 to 3 days and you need to manage the whole thing, and there's no training, no experienced people in the studio, and the whole thing is already a flop, and you have to one by one structure it, and in the end you're getting your backstabbed.
And that's the crazy thing that does happen, that I think, when you describe this to other people, even if it is like another woman, there are some women who don't believe that this
Yeah.
happens in the
Yeah.
workplace, which is sort of like, how can you not believe that happens? Because it happens so frequently. And it's just
Yeah.
like, when you try to explain this to people, they don't believe that it happens. And I think that's why a lot of time, a lot of women tend to give up. And particularly in Sri Lanka as well, culturally, we're told to kind of pipe down, not speak
Yeah.
out, don't be,
Yeah.
so assertive, don't be so
Yeah.
opinionated, because that's like, where all the problems start from. And we get
Yeah.
trampled down so much that eventually in the workplace, we kind of put our heads down, do the work, and just clock off, and we don't say anything, even if we have a better idea, or if we see something that we don't agree with, that we think
Exactly.
we can contribute to. So
Yeah.
it's been
Even if we know an
interesting
easy way to get done the work, we won't be saying it because they'll be seeing it as a big threat.
Exactly. And that's where it's sort of interesting as to how women empower themselves in workplaces here in Sri Lanka. I personally feel like they don't. I feel like nobody really has that kind of, and this is like the generalization, because there are women who do it, but generally people kind of don't have that ambition. They kind of go, okay, I'm going to just follow the flow, and where they put me is where I'm going to be, and I'm going to be happy with that. And I think the conversations you have with a lot of women in terms of careers is a little bit, it's quite vanilla in that sense, because they're sort of, they don't really have that vision for themselves. And then certainly, of course, you meet people like, how I've met you and had these conversations with you about where you see yourself career wise. There's such a clear distinction. And then, we can bucket ourselves. We are the ones who are more opinionated, assertive, frowned upon. And, it's been interesting in that regard to then consider, what does empowerment mean for us in a society that's so focused on disempowering us? So,
yeah. And when it comes for the days, I think we should start with the International Women's Day. There shouldn't be an International Women's Day at all, because there aren't any International Men's Days. Because basically what we do is we are putting a limitation by just putting one person into, oh, this is a women's day, we should celebrate them and do this and that and appreciate the work, and then the very next day go back to the same lifestyle of putting the woman down, keep on pressing them down. So that's one way of people are actually, most of them are actually trying to limit. I'm not saying that it's a very bad idea. It's a very good thing that actually, at least if there's a day for the woman to be appreciated, yes, there should be so many days, not just one day, but that's actually a good thing. But at the same time, we should understand the fact that it's just for one day that the whole International Women's Day is being appreciated, the woman is being appreciated, and this and that, but nothing changes after that. No one is willing to take that change, because the very next day is back to their old selves. Okay, you want to say your idea, then you can keep it yourself. If you're having your own thing, then at that time you can manage it. Not in this office. That's the mindset that they're having back again after the day. Because on that day, they will be like popping candies and ice creams and International Women's Day discounts, and on Uber Eats, the discounts are going,
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean, right?
Yeah, it's sort of, I mean, it's akin to Valentine's Day, isn't it? We don't
Yeah,
celebrate Valentine's Day in the sense of it's about love. We're just celebrating it because of the commercialization of it, because,
exactly. It's
the
a marketing
popularity
trick.
of it. Yeah.
Yeah,
And, love is every day. And just like you said, celebrating women is every day, as should be
yeah,
celebrating men and other people. It's just like it should be a daily thing, but we seem to make a big hoopla of it. And as you said, yeah, the promotions and oh,
yeah.
women's day like specials at clubs and things like that. And it's like, it's a Tuesday, right? Like no one's going out drinking on a Tuesday. But well, maybe some of us. I mean, I don't know. I can't just say I can't say that. And then there's probably somebody going, hang on a second, I totally capitalize on those specials. But yeah, I think you're right. It's sort of there's definitely ways that we should be sort of focusing on this issue, particularly in Sri Lanka. I think that a lot of times in Sri Lanka, we tend to jump on the bandwagon for a lot of things. So, like International
Yeah.
Women's Day, we jump on that. And I've seen so many organizations, do the right thing on social media of like highlighting the women in their organization and talking
Only
about
for
it.
24 hours, honey. Only for 24
Yeah,
hours.
but then when you actually talk to people who are in those organizations, they're like, "Oh, well, we didn't really see anything come from it. We don't really have those benefits. We don't have that authority either." So, it's interesting how we kind of shift mindsets and shift things in a country that's already kind of moving forward in that sense. Obviously, the
Yeah,
younger generation is, impacting a lot more culturally. And obviously, we're shifting out of a lot of the old fashioned views, especially on
yeah,
marriage and things like that. But people are still so backward. And it's so mind boggling that way.
yeah.
So,
In that area, we are still very primitive. I think very conservative when it
why do
comes
you
to that
think
area.
it is, Georgina? Sorry, I'm interrupting you, but like,
Yeah, yeah.
why do
Now,
you think it is? Why are we like this?
back to the same old answer. I think it's because of the male ego. Because okay, if we say, oh, it's the International Men's Day, it feels weird, right? It
Mm,
feels weird, yeah, because that mindset that we also have already, because it's not like a newborn baby. We've been living in this country, in this world for a long time. So a certain set of mindsets, those are already planted in our brains. So if we say it's International Men's Day, it feels weird. But if somebody says it's International Women's Day, it feels like, oh, okay, that's my vibe. That's like a normal thing, a daily normal thing in life. So it comes down to the male ego, because um, people should realize, at least by now, that we are not definitely equal. We can't be equal because women are way better than men. Because
no,
um,
that's a
yeah,
that's a dangerous statement there.
women are way better than men. Okay, women tolerate a higher level of pain when they give birth. And they've done these experiments. Even on YouTube, there are so many videos that men actually even try to get that pain, and they are like, "Oh my God, I can't believe my wife went through this." So
Oh
they can't
yeah.
tolerate that. Yeah, so
To
they can't
add to
tolerate
that,
that.
they've done it for monthly sort of like period
Yeah,
cramps
yeah,
as
even
well,
for
and they
period.
couldn't
If they
they couldn't
can't
handle
tolerate
those.
that
Yeah.
monthly cramps, how can they tolerate a childbirth?
Yeah. No, that's
So
true.
women tolerate that. It breaks bones. Basically it breaks bones when a woman is giving birth, and then with that, she's only getting for, I think, less than 3 months, or maybe 3 months of pregnancy leave. I think
Yeah, in
so.
Sri Lanka, it's quite ridiculous, I think.
Yeah, it's
We
three
don't
months,
even
right?
have paternity leave, I don't think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think only 1 week or 2 weeks maternity leaves, right? I am not quite
Depending on the
sure, but
organization, yeah,
yeah.
it's quite ridiculous.
So that's there. With all that, the craziness going on, she goes to work. She works. She feed the kid, the infant that she has, and then she do the house chores. A Sri Lankan woman, and then handle the whole family. Doing this and that and all this work. I really doubt a man can handle all that and juggle through work, juggle through the family life, and juggle through everything and stay sane.
That is
That's not
very
easy.
true. Because culturally as well, we have so many obligations, not just like family obligations, we have our religious obligations as well. And we're such a judgmental
Yeah,
society because if you don't
superiorly
do
judgmental.
something, yeah, if you don't do something, so if you have a child, but you don't do the customary sort of introductions or updates to the family, no matter how you're feeling as a woman,
Yeah,
you, and no matter if they themselves understand, like, you know, the pain you're in being women themselves, you still get judged and you still get that sort of like, um, comments and you know negativity put your
yeah,
way, and it can be so draining. So a lot of times as well that happens, like with careers. I mean, how often are we judged because we choose careers? I know, being in my early 30s, a lot of times I feel judged because I haven't put in that sort of effort to finding a
yeah.
husband, having a family. And you know, it's like in societal like standards in Asia, I'm sort of kind of not in my prime because I am like significantly older. So it's almost like, well, when are you going to do that? And when are you going to start? Like, yeah, all of those judgments
Why
also
is
get
there a
put your
timer
way.
behind my back
I
saying
know,
that
it's
you're
like we have an
finding
expiry
yourself?
date. So, and especially like, I think in Sri Lankan society, we have such a peculiar way of approaching those things. And then you start getting like all these interesting marriage proposals put your way where you're
Oh my God.
like, oh yeah, I mean, I've been fortunate in that my family isn't oriented that way, but there have been the odd kind of, oh, well, what do you think of this person? And I'm just like, seriously? That person's like in their mid 40s. What are you trying
Are
to
you
say?
freaking
You
kidding
know,
me right
it's
now?
like, are my prospects only
Yeah,
limited?
exactly. Because
Exactly.
thank God for my family as well. Because my mom is not willing to put that. She only wants me to be having a good. Cause she wants me to have a good career, a good financial status, a stable financial status. You know, those things are the
Mm.
things that she's focusing on, and not the marriage. Because what my mom was telling me is that when it comes for the marriage, you need to think and rethink and again rethink about it.
That is so true. That's something my mom also tells me. She's like, you see what it's like with your dad, you know, think of all of that for yourself. And that is so true. Marriage isn't, I mean, especially in this day and age where things are significantly different from our parents'
Yeah,
time, marriage isn't just a walk in the park. I mean, even back then, it wasn't a walk in the park for them. It was
yeah.
a lot of work. So, yeah, and it's
I think the issue with the marriage these days are the fact that those days women actually held on. They tried
yep.
to keep on giving with living with the person, and they try to held on to that marriage. It was like the thing that they need to keep on having. But these days, it's like if you want to stay, you stay. If you want to go, then go away.
Or
The
I'm
bloody
going.
door is, yeah, the door is already
Yeah.
open. Walk away, man. Walk away.
That's so true. And then,
Yeah,
yeah, I think it's still, again, empowerment wise, you know, doing that, you're still sort of frowned upon for those kind of
yeah,
things because you're seen as being too independent, too opinionated, you know, just parroting again, like those things. And I think that's so much of the reason why a lot of women tend to either focus wholly on a career or they, you know, water themselves down and do what is acceptable by societal
yeah,
norms, which is so sad in that sense that we feel that need to do that, particularly. And I mean, this is such a generalized thing in terms of like Sri Lanka and where we are, that this
yeah.
happens. And when I try to explain that to people, they just go, is that seriously what it's like? And it's like, no, really, it really is. And
Oh no, this is just a rainbow paradise. You come and you can see unicorns pooping candy.
island fever. I think we tend to have that, right, where we're a gorgeous island. People think that we live on the beach and we're sipping pina coladas and you know
Oh
everything
yeah,
is hunky-dory. It's
yeah.
like
Get my
reality is
Hawaiian
so
shirt and the
no.
beach cap and everything. Okay, I'm set for the mood. Oh God, come
Exactly.
on. We are living in a country where we have 24/7, 365 days of summer. The
Yes,
summer. We don't have
so
even a
awful.
bit of snow.
Well, Norelia does,
Yeah.
so that's like more central north of Sri Lanka.
Yeah,
So yeah.
in the middle of the island.
Yeah.
It's weird for me to say even an island, like,
I know.
even though, yeah,
It's the truth.
it's true that we are living in an island, but we have never considered it as an island. It's just, we have never thought of it island as an island.
No.
We are like saying, oh, we live in Sri Lanka, but basically it's an island.
It literally is, but it's no Maldives either. Like Maldives is more, I mean, you don't have cars over there, right? It's like you can literally cross the island in a golf cart, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So whereas Sri Lanka, you can't really cross Sri Lanka with a golf cart. You kind of have to take, I think,
Yeah,
2
so it's
days to do that.
way bigger than that.
Yeah. I think give or take, it takes maybe 9 to 12 hours with the new highway.
Yeah.
Don't quote me on that. Says the person who has not left the house, by the way, for like, I don't even want to admit how long. So I would not know how long it takes to travel from one side of Sri Lanka to the next.
Oh, did you know that the first, when they built Mercedes Benz, I heard it from Denzel actually when we were doing this podcast. When they built a Mercedes for the first time, not as an F1 car, but the origin of Mercedes, it
Consumer
was
vehicle.
driven. Yeah, it was driven by a woman.
It was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I never knew that. I was like, oh my God, a woman drove that vehicle, and then the whole issue of, oh, women can't drive shit is happening all around. And I'm like, wow, we are supposed to walk forward, but the world is walking actually backwards.
There are so many innovations and concepts and, you know, things in our world that have been conceptualized or created by women first. And you don't hear those stories more often because they kind of get pushed to, you know, the history. Well, not even the history books, I guess, because I don't remember learning that much about women as a child. I mean, you literally only hear about the same women over and over, like Marie Curie or
Oh my God, I was about to name
Mother
that name.
Teresa. Yeah, it's like those sort of iconic names, but you don't hear
That's
some of
it.
the yeah.
That's all that we heard. That's all that we are keep on hearing, and nothing else. So until Denzel mentioned that, I never actually knew that.
Oh, that's
And then,
insane.
yeah, exactly. There are so many women who have done so much,
Mhm.
but we, without knowing even ourselves, we jump to the conclusion that it was done by a man, because that much men are being marketed, but not the women.
Exactly that. And I was going to say, we talk about like obviously, you know, global women who have
Yeah.
done things, but in Sri Lanka, do you have even one name that comes to mind in terms of a woman who has created something or done something monumental, built something that you
No.
know of? Yeah, right?
Yeah.
I was trying to
Yeah.
think of that just now, and I realized that is actually really sad that we
Yeah.
ourselves don't know one Sri Lankan woman who has done something on that scale because we aren't exposed to that. And I mean, well, now that I say it, I think the only female figure that I can think of is our former female president. She was the first female
Yeah.
president, if I'm not mistaken, in the entire
Yeah. Yeah.
world.
She was the first female president, because before that we had the first female prime minister,
Mm-hmm.
which
Yep.
was her mom, in the political field. But except for those two names, I don't think actually I can even remember a name that can be a figure or to be named as an example of anything. Oh
Yeah.
my God, we are so sad. Oh my God.
Yeah, and I think that's sort of, you know, it's interesting as we kind of think about like what we
Yeah.
have been talking about today, empowerment and things like that. We're essentially just showing just how disempowered we can really be here because we are not exposed to those kind of conversations. They're not prevalent for us, you know, other than westernization, which I think you and I have both been exposed to much more than our own local culture. That's sort of
Yeah.
been the premise for how we've become more, you know, opinionated, open-minded, assertive, and just yeah, like I think that drives a lot of who we are now. But if we were to
Yes.
go in terms of local culture and just what we're exposed to, it's not
Oh
very
my God.
much.
If I share my experience, as I was competing as an athlete for women's physique. competition in Mr. Sri Lanka. That's actually basically the only international, only nationalized stage that we have here. So they have every year Mr. Sri Lanka. It's a bodybuilding competition where they have women's physique as well. It was not known until a few years ago. So when we went on stage, those days they were the other athletes, they were like sharing their thoughts and the experience. They were saying that whenever there's a woman on a stage, there were so many men who are actually athletes as well, watching who are watching the competition. They used to boo these
That's
women.
so awful.
Exactly. They used to say ooh, boo, and the things that they keep on saying, like whatever the response that Louise got back again with the F1. Oh my God.
I know. We can't help it.
Right. So they used to do all this booing and stuff like that. And then when I said that I'm gonna participate in this one of these competitions and this and that, my mom was super against it. She was saying, "Oh, you are a girl. You're not supposed to do all these things." And I'm like, "What are you living in a stone age or something? What is wrong with you?" And
What
then
are
she was
you
like,
supposed to do?
"Yeah." And then she was like, the only thing that she told me was, it's okay if you can go international for an international competition out of this country, but I don't like you to go on the national competitions, because the men here are hopeless. Because she already knew what sort of a mindset most of the people who are in the field also have. Because you imagine you getting booed on a stage, you're on a
That's meant for
diet.
that competition
Yeah,
as well.
it,
Yeah.
it's going to affect very badly. And then that was what my mom was thinking. That's what went through her mind. So at first I didn't actually understand, and I was like thinking, what, are you living in a stone age or something? How can you be so conservative or primitive? But then when she explained the issue, I realized, okay, there's a bigger issue here. She was very interested in me doing all these competitions, but not in the country, outside the country. She was very okay with me going to these bikini competitions. When we are doing these women's competition, we are supposed to wear the bikini so that we can
Mm,
expose the muscles and everything. But she was not very comfortable me doing it in Sri Lanka, but she was very comfortable doing it abroad, because she knows how or what sort of a society that we have here. And I
it's
can't say
horrible.
that, yeah, I can't say that's wrong, because even though I couldn't hear on stage when we were there, a lot of people were saying to me, those who spoke with me were saying, "Oh, you know what? The booing issues that you guys had, it was way lesser now than it used to be." And I'm like, "Oh, we got booed? I didn't hear it."
That's
But
like, oh
imagine,
gosh.
yeah, and imagine those who actually heard it when they were on
Yeah,
stage. So that
that's
is
worse.
so bad.
That's,
Really
and I think that's the other thing. First, I always say this to my mom, for a society that's so hung up on manners and being the, good person and
Yeah,
all of
I
that
mean,
sort of
this is a
thing.
Buddhist country, and
Yeah,
even
we're
in the
really,
religion, there aren't any discriminations within the religion, but people are not following it.
we're horrible in Colombo. And I mean,
Yeah,
yeah, I will attribute it to Colombo. We're horrible here. And it's just, it's very, I mean, we do have that issue of just how males perceive women, and especially women who are trying to sort of do things for themselves. And even if it's on a small scale or a larger scale, it's sort of, they just cannot handle it. And they're also very creepy about it. Sort
yeah,
of,
super
I think,
creepy about it.
yeah, I think it's been really interesting for me. Certainly, I look more foreign than I do Sri Lankan, and that tends to sometimes come up with yeah, very awkward experiences. And then as soon as they learn well, as soon as they learn I'm half Sri Lankan, they tend to, oh gosh, they try to like box me in into the
Oh
cultural
my
norms.
gosh.
Yeah, and it's been very strange. Like I went to law school here quite a while ago when I was still schooling, and I remember that they tried to school me in so many ways because I did things that weren't apparently acceptable. I did not know that
What the hell?
things like apparently playing with your necklace while you're reading something is unacceptable. And when
Why?
it was a guy who told me, and I asked him, I said, I'm just trying to understand what about this action is, you know, disrespectful. And he said,
Yo,
no, it's
which
just not
part of that
nice.
is disrespectful? That is bullshit. That's
I
crazy.
know. But I do
Oh my
think it
God. I
was
wish that guy
bullying
comes to
though.
me and say something like that, you know?
Yeah, I do think it was bullying though, because I experienced a lot of, yeah, I did experience a lot of I don't want to say not racist comments, but a lot of attacks on my mom for marrying a foreigner, and a lot of attacks on how I was in terms of how I conducted myself. I was very prim and proper, even more so back
Oh,
then than I
it's just
was now.
total jealousy, trusting.
Yeah,
When
it was
yeah,
strange. And the comments they make, it made me really go home to my mom and go, I thought we were better than that. I thought we were much more like, you know, focused on manners and how we are to the, you know, general society. Like we have that mosque, right? We're so like
yeah,
we're a country full of mosques, like not just in terms of like fake identities, but also our devil mosque that we have as like the evil eye counter that each house has. But yeah, it's so interesting in that sense, like how it kind of permeates through all levels, not just like work wise, but how like men particularly look to sort
yeah,
of put you down, and they do it in the small, minute, like microaggressions, like booing at you when you're more than worthy of being up there on stage as well. And it's also
yeah.
something when you described Mr. Sri Lanka, I didn't know until that moment when you said that women were allowed to compete. I had no idea that women competed in that, because I knew a Mr. Sri Lanka from like I think 2006. He was the winner of like, the previous year or something like that, and I never knew it had women competing in that competition, and
Yeah,
that's because
actually,
it's
women.
named.
But the thing is, like, women don't try to participate. They're not very forward in participating. There's a lack of participation when it comes to the competitions like that because of those reasons,
That's
due to those
unfortunate.
reasons. And there is this girl much older than me, I think. She was the winner on that year as well. And then somebody was asking whether she's going for this international competition and this and that. And then she was like saying, well, I requested them, the federation, and they just keep on rejecting and they never allowed me to go. So I can't. So imagine that. She's getting blocked out because why can't she go and then the rest of the men can go anywhere in the world and compete? That's very crazy, and I don't know what to call it even.
Yeah,
That's really
no,
crazy. Yeah,
I'm actually speechless over that, because
yeah,
that's really not right. But we have that so often, and coming, I mean, you know, we have certainly gone off on a tangent a little bit, but going back to like the workplace, I feel like people don't believe us when we talk about how we're blocked from opportunities, how we're blocked from even doing something simple like accessing documents that are relevant to our work. It's almost like it's acceptable for men to
yeah,
do that to us, and I think that has been so frustrating. I mean, certainly for me, I've experienced that so much having worked here and worked with a lot of different people. It's not a sort of this is a one-off instance. It's a very, very common experience that you will have in the
yeah.
workplace. So yeah, that's us ranting in a nutshell.
Yeah. So that was the first episode
Oh my
of us
goodness.
ranting. We will be doing more episodes, though we're going to end this episode for today from here because we won't be taking a lot of time of you guys who are listening to us because we know that you guys are also busy, even though we are not.
As Kim Kardashian said this week, I think it was. I don't even
Yeah,
want to quote
oh
her,
my
but
God.
everybody knows the
I'm
quote.
not even working, but I had so many things to do, and I was like the busiest person ever this week.
Oh gosh. Yeah, this week for me as well was the same. I sort of looked at my schedule and I was just like, I wish I had more hours in a day. Like even now, looking at the time, it's already 2:30 for us. So
Yeah.
it's like time just passes by. It's insane. But thank you so much, Georgina, for having me on here. It's been
Hope to
fun. I
have
feel
you
like
for more episodes.
it's been super fun getting to sit and chat, and hopefully everybody's enjoyed us just sitting here rambling and having our power cuts and tech issues.
We are so genuine, so we are not going to cut off those things. We are just showing what happens, actually what happens.
The awkward, yeah, you get to experience the awkward kind of lapses and us trying to get our ish together.
Yeah.
But and when I say us, I mean me. I will take accountability. It was all me.
No, we will share that.
I appreciate that so much.
Alrighty, so I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and we will be doing more and more of these episodes on the coming weeks as well, of course, with her. And I would like her to pronounce actually her name so that I won't be messing it up.
Oh gosh, so everybody tends to pronounce it Natsumi, and
Yeah.
I do allow for people to call me Nat because it's easy. My mom calls me Nat as well, but my name is actually pronounced Natsumi. So
Natsumi.
Yeah.
That's a cool name. That's so
you.
nice. What's the meaning of that name, though?
Oh gosh.
Is there a particular meaning?
There is, and my dad was very poetic about it. So I was born here in Sri Lanka. I am Japanese though, but since I was born in December, my parents didn't want to name me Winter Beauty, so they named me Summer Beauty instead because it's always summer in Sri Lanka, and that's what Natsumi means. Natsu means summer, me means beauty. Yeah. Obviously, I hate it because I hate summer.
The summer queen. That's what I'm going to call it, the summer queen. Yes.
Oh gosh, and I'm like the person who hates summer the most. I am full on a winter person. But yeah, so that's what my name means.
Okay, so we will be back with our summer queen, of course.
Oh gosh, I'm gonna regret this.
For more episodes. So please do tune in with us and do send us. You can follow her on Twitter, Zero Gravity, and you can follow me on Twitter, Georgina Donna. You guys can actually send us whatever the topics that you want to talk about. If you want to hear us talking, then shoot the topics away. You're super welcome for that. And then, of course, on Gram, also, you guys can follow us on Instagram and, as I mentioned, Twitter, and send us your thoughts, feedbacks. Everything is welcome because we are talking about everything and anything about something.
We're stripping the dipping.
Yes, we are stripping the damn dipping.
Exactly that.
Alrighty. So thanks so much for joining us, and we will see you soon. And this is Jorgy signing off. Much love to you guys. Mwah.